Hello, we are in the ArcGIS online organization, and now we're going to take a look at getting some information about individual items in our account. So let's start by going to My Content on the top bar. This will take us to our individual listings of all the content we've created so far in the ArcGIS online account. For instance, we have a feature layer here called Public Schools Active. So the first thing we can do is just click once on the name, and this will take us to an info sheet about that particular feature layer or that particular item. So we're provided with a thumbnail that shows a distribution of the points in that layer. In this case, it's public schools in the state of California, and each dot represents a school point. Some information here along with the thumbnail tells us who hosted that feature layer, when it was last updated, and then it gives you a whole list of choices to help you better understand and provide information about that piece of content. So let's take a look at those. The first one is Share. And if we click on Share, this screen gives us the ability to share or not share, keep private, this item with different members of the National University AGO organization. We could share it with everyone publicly. We could share it with just the members of the university, or here we have a list of the groups that I'm part of. So it will give you a scrolling list of your groups. So we could say, I'm going to share it with the training class, and I just click, and to validate my choices, I hit OK. And that will update the ability of different people in the group to access that piece of content. The next choice we have is Edit. So we'll click once on Edit, and that takes us to another screen that's really important, because we may remember our piece of content when we first add it, but 6 months down the road we may have some questions about it, and if you take a little bit of time to fill out this edit sheet, you can provide a lot of metadata to yourself and to other users of this data that becomes very important. So I might change my title here and call this Public Schools in California that are active. And I can put in a little summary, public school information, and it works just like a word editor. You can go in and change things around. Here we have a description, and so this is an area that provides documentation. You might want to include things like the date, the source you got the data from, maybe a web page or a data directory, a contact for the information, along with a phone number or an organization name. All this kind of information can be saved here, and it's very nice. You can collect sources, and you can copy and paste information from existing research and paste it right in here. As we move on down, we take a look at the access and use constraints. So some of these might be only for California and only at a scale of 1 to 24,000. Not to be used for analysis, or maybe do not share outside the National University AGO. So there's all different kinds of notes you can put in here to let your users and the people you share this information with understand a little bit better of what you have and what you're going to be tasking this data for. One of the notes here in the properties section is deletion protection. You might notice what it says here. We're going to go ahead and click this because I want to make really sure that no one's going to accidentally delete this that I've shared it with. And there's some additional editing and tracking choices down here that you can review and see which ones pertain to you and this data set. So we're done, and we'll click Save. We'll give it a second here. And now we are back to our list of choices for our items. delete has now been grayed out because we clicked the delete protection box, so we don't need to worry about being able to delete this. Now it's just an administrator or the data source person that can delete this item. Okay, let's take a look at publish. Publish is what you get in a screen when you're ready to share an Excel spreadsheet data or other information that you've found with your organization. This feature layer has already been published, and here's some of the information I have about it. A moment to be published because now this is going from the information on our computers to the National University ArcGIS Online account in the Esri cloud out there somewhere. Okay, so one of the other things I may want to do is move my files around. So we can hit the move button and it will allow us to move this information to a different group. Additionally, we can change the owner. Perhaps someone that's been working on this project takes a different job and you need to switch over the ownership of some of these layers. You can select a folder to move it to, as well as reassign it to someone else in your organization. And usage is more of a tool for the site administrator to see how many hits and how many different projects, different content items are receiving. So this is a quick overview of the options you have for each of your items' content, and I hope you'll find them useful.